All right, another sunny day in Arizona. Going to Gila Bend. They have some nice views over there. And I'll tell you one thing about the ZX14. It doesn't mind city traffic. It maneuvers really well. And in Arizona, summers are a little hot. Right now it's 97 degrees. It's going to get hotter today. But with a mesh jacket on, and as long as the bike is moving, you're okay. Remember to use both brakes. And use your gears to slow down. Very easy to find neutral on a ZX14. It's a smooth bike, it's nice. Man, just cleared the city. Going down 387. As soon as you go a few roads here, you know, the farmland just opens right up. You can see the mountains again, which are always beautiful. It's nice. Cruising at 65, 6 gear, and only 3.5 RPM. It's kind of nice. One thing to keep in mind with the with this bike is that, you know, the rear view mirrors, they actually work real well. They are positioned just perfectly on the bike. Yep. This is the desert. If you like being around water and beaches and things like that, I mean, they have them here, but it's mostly like this, which I love. I'm from New England, and believe me, I've been here for a year now. It's been the best winter of my life. I believe there are two types of people that move here. Those who, yellow light, gotta go through it. Those that are come from stressful places, doesn't mean there's no stress here, but it's less stressful here, it's more open. And those that come from cold places, and that's me. As soon as I got here, about 8-9 months later, I got me the ZX14 bike, and I am cruising the desert. And I'm not looking back. Heading into lovely Maricopa. And speed limit is 65, but these people are starting to go a little slow. And you know what? Sometimes they need to get out of the way. Got a light coming up. The mountains in Arizona are beautiful, and I think the best way to experience it is on a motorcycle. As we get closer to Gila Bend, it's even nicer. But I love it. I love the desert and I love the mountains. It's awesome. A lot of these places, these mountains, this scenery is so beautiful. It's all native land. Native American. It's funny how they build in the Phoenix area. It's like they'll stack and pack the houses right to the edge of those lines, and then all of a sudden it's like the Lord of the Rings, you know, when the wizard's on the bridge and tells the that monster, "You shall not pass." Well, that's what the Indians say here. You shall not pass. No building after that. Except if you're making a casino. Then highest bid. Thank you. No, one thing's for sure. The Native Americans, when they do make these reservations, they keep the place looking beautiful. I mean, you don't want to overbuild. Phoenix is a sprawling area anyway. It has everything. It's great, but the beauty of Arizona is the wilderness. And these reservations preserve that, which is great. Getting used to the gearing and on this ZX14. Entering Maricopa, elevation 1190. A nice balmy 99 degrees. It's a nice place. And we'll be turning off soon to our next route. I think it's 287. Okay, it's 238. We're coming up on it. Whenever you change lanes, even on a motorcycle, make sure to look. The mirrors are great on this bike, but you really need to look. Because remember, bottom line on a motorcycle, you are invisible. They don't even know you're there. Always know that. Okay, just jumped on 238. Heading into the mountains. One great thing about Arizona is there's lots of straight roads. Great for motorcycling. I think a lot of people like curvies, which is great, but I don't know. I really enjoy seeing all the distances, mountains, and the things like that. It's great. Meditative. Feels good. Be back on the bike. Temperature dropped down to 97. That fluctuates. It's pretty accurate thermometer on the bike. I got it on high power with traction 2. I like a little bit of grip, because the back wheel likes to kick out when you make a turn. Anyway, nice roads, lots of cows, lots of interesting scenery. And you know, when it's a little warm like this, I don't know, I tend to find less bugs. I'm not sure. But sunrise, sunset, it's a little cooler there more. Anyway, hang on. Time to pass. I don't know what it is, but when you're on a motorcycle and you pass with power, speed, it feels great. Motorcycles in general, the riding them, gotta be safe, but I'll tell you, there's nothing like it. Just cruise along. One thing about the ZX14 though, you know, you can drift on a lot of bikes, but on this bike you got to pay attention, because you'll increase speed, you will you just need to keep your attention, because this monster likes to go. Sometimes when you ride a ZX14, you're like one of those guys in the circus with a whip, and there's like the lion there, and you're trying to whip the lion or use a chair or use something to control it. Sometimes when you're on this thing, I kind of imagine being like that, but you know what, tell you the truth, this bike is so smooth and so relaxed at any speed, even the fast speeds. You have a lot of confidence. Wind blast. Watch out for trucks. You get too close to them, they give you that big blast. But desert riding is mesmerizing, especially with the scenery and things like that. I kind of get lost in thought and don't say anything because it's kind of fun. Once we hit these mountains coming up, a little more twisties, I'll bring it back. Yep. Lots of fun straightaways. And that reminds me. Always fun. We got a train coming in. Imagine you could run this fast. Amazing. Amazing is the Lord, who is above all things. Heading into the mountains now, getting closer to Gila Bend. It's beautiful out here. When you're on a bike, you just get lost on the road and with the scenery and with the air blowing into you, and you just thank the Lord for the wonderful pleasure you're able to experience. All right, you got more winding roads and dips, which the ZX14 loves to handle. Bumps are no problems, turns. This motorcycle is more like a hyper sport tourer. And because it's comfortable. Always fun to have a truck in the middle of the road. Got to go through these mountains to get to Gila Bend, and I'll tell you, it can be a lot of fun. $50 miles an hour. Yep. It is a lot of fun to be out here on your bike in the Arizona desert with mountains around you. And you just swirl through these roads, mountains and cacti, and beautiful road. Degrees. It's not so bad being on a bike when it's like 100 or a little above that. The helmet keeps your head safe from the sun. I see some guys on the road and they've got short sleeve and shorts and it's really hot. And I'll tell you that this wind at a very high speed burns. I've got leather pants on. I made the mistake of not wearing my pants when I went to pick up the bike, and there was a little opening in it where my boots were, where my skin was exposed, and it was burning. So I wear my leather pants all the time now. It's good for protection, it's good for the elements. I highly recommend getting some leather pants. Wear some good gloves. Wear the gear, the protective gear. Don't cut short on that. Because you want to feel comfortable, and part of it is making sure you have the right gear. Dips and turns, desert. I'm just waiting for the Roadrunner to run by me and the coyote chasing him. Some of these turns get a little steep. Pull it down to 4th gear, get a little more grip. No problem. It is nice. Changing gears on a ZX14 is really easy. Staying upright, crowd position, it's all good. Dips are fun. Going through the mountains in the Arizona desert with the hawks flying above, cacti, and the desert. It's wonderful. The Lord's beauty is unsurpassed, and the best way to experience it is on a bike. I notice when I ride, my positioning is a lot more comfortable after you get used to riding on this bike. You realize what your best position is. Now they have risers to make you be a little more upright. I did order those. I don't think I'm going to put them on, but I'm just going to hang on to them for a little bit. But right now I'm pretty comfortable. I'm 6 feet tall, 185. I got long limbs, and it works for me. I think a guy with shorter arms, I take a 36 sleeve, but a guy with shorter arms might be in a little bit more of a stretch position, and that riser might help. For me right now, I'm pretty comfortable. I like riding with my hand on top of the clutch, and rather than gripping it, just to give myself a little relief from gripping it, because I'll tell you, my hands get more tired than anything else when you're on the bike, just from hanging on, turning. And one thing is for sure, when you're on a motorcycle and you're going, especially the ZX14 that requires a lot of your attention all the time, you get sharper. Your brain gets sharper. You're able to focus better. You just feel a little bit more intense with your everyday thinking. It's definitely has to do with riding on the bike for a sustained amount of time. And I'm not talking about just going fast and going crazy. I mean, that takes even more focus. But, you know, you're on the road and you're looking around, and the beautiful scenery's around you. You got trains ready to go to the East Coast or California, not sure. Union Pacific. The only way to ship, I guess. But when you're out in the desert, you feel a little more isolated, and you feel a little bit more in tune with your senses, and you got to stay sharp. And it translates into your everyday life. You definitely feel it. .238 going to Gila Bend, and one thing about the road that's going there is lots of dips. Just past the mountains, and you got these dips. Kind of fun. Okay, pulling into lovely Gila Bend. Don't think we need gas, but I think I'll jump off the bike and just stretch my legs. Just subway here. Looks like it was just Subway. Well, that place didn't work out. It was just a Subway. I just need to get some water. It's 102. There's a train, a massive train going somewhere. And we are in Gila Bend. And there's a space age restaurant here. Got a Mexican grill, and this is the main street. We got a Burger King coming up. I do see a K sign, so I'm gonna head over to that. Get a quick drink. Still have 138 miles for my range, so that's good. We'll pull this into the Special K and we'll turn around and go home. Anyway, guys, God bless you. Stay safe. And take care. Magnificent is the Lord who created all things. Magnificent is the Lord who guides us and helps us, protects us, and keeps us safe. Magnificent is the Lord that made everything so beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful here in the desert. And it's 100 degrees. Stopped off at the gas station. Didn't need gas. ZX14 does around 40 miles per gallon so far for me. But I got some water. You definitely need water out in the desert. Going back to the Valley of the Sun. Right over those mountains is Phoenix. It's like in a big bowl, surrounded by mountains. Keeps it hot, that's for sure. Glorious mountains and beautiful desert and bright sun, and you're sitting on your bike enjoying the wonders that this world has from a great perspective. Wonderful perspective to see everything coming at you. The Arizona mountains and the desert.